This is the position at the rear of the vehicle where the mains air conditioning unit and the generator are fitted. You have vents either side which need to be not obstructed to let the air go through. The keys, the main door key, which opens the habitation door, will open the side lockers as well. To open these lockers, just put the key in, turn it, and that lock will pop out. Once those are undone, just turn the lock to open the door, and then this catch will hold the door back up out the way, like so. In this side, on the driver's side, you have some storage space, but be careful, this is the main air intake from inside. That's not to be damaged or cramped. This is the toolkit for changing the spare wheel, so that can stay in there or that can go somewhere else out of the way. Okay. On the other side, we have a compartment which is the same size, again same oval shaped black key to open these doors. So this compartment here houses the generator, and the air conditioning unit is located in the central part. Okay, so this is not for storage, this is for the generator. When the generator is running, there's a 12-watt fan up in the middle which will blow air through and give it a continuous flow of air across the top of the generator to stop it from overheating. The generator is actually exhausted out through the bottom, so all the exhaust fumes come out and are blown underneath the van. On the back of the vehicle, you have the petrol filler, which is the silver key. So unleaded petrol into here, through there, and that will fill into this fuel tank here, which holds 25 litres. That is the fuel tank to run the generator. It's nothing to do with the rest of the vehicle, so that's purely to run the generator. The generator itself, when it is running, there's a circuit protector here, RCD, in case of shortage or overload, which is linked through to the main RCD inside. You do not need to do anything with that unless there's a problem. If it trips, then it could be. There's also a main 12-watt fuse in the box here. Again, if there's any problem with the 12-watt supply, if it shorts, then that fuse protects the 12-watt supply from the generator. So when the generator runs, that fan in there will automatically be running. For service and maintenance on the generator, you have the round black key here. This will take the face off the generator, so the key goes in this lock here. If you undo that, this face lifts off the generator, and then you can access for service to check the oil. Again, if you see the maintenance book with the generator, that will explain what needs to be done in here and how often. Okay, and there's some oil there for topping up the generator. That just goes back on. Locked with this key. to also be careful, because this, when it's running, will produce heat. If it's very hot, then the more air that can flow through it, the better. So maybe that storage space on the other side, don't pack too much, because you need to get the airflow across. So not to be completely packed with equipment. These locks here, when you shut the door, just turn them and they'll pull the door in, and then again you just relock it with the oval black key, lock the door lock, and then just press on the door lock and it will lock back in place, and you know it's locked then. So that is in the lock position. Right, inside, above the main door, you have the control panel for all the internal workings on 12 volt. This is the control panel for the generator. These are the two controllers for the aircon units, and this is the on-off button for the 12 volt system to help with the main aircon if you want to switch it off mains and run it on 12 volt. Okay, for normal use, to start and run the generator, if you just press the button there, the power will come on. Then you just press and start the generator and it will run. This will now provide enough power on mains electricity, 2,600 watts of power at maximum usage, to run any mains appliance. With the generator running, this power now is going through to the mains sockets, to the mains aircon units. You could run the mains fridge, you can run the heating system on mains, but you have to be careful of how much power you draw from the aircon from the generator. If you look at the panel here, this main figure, which is now 0.1 kilowatt, is showing the draw on the generator. So that can go up to 2,600 at maximum usage. As you switch appliances on, the generator will kick in and work harder to produce more mains power. And then if you want to switch it off, you just press the red button and that will switch the unit off. For normal usage, if you are stationary and you want to have the air conditioning systems running off of the mains electrics, if you have a mains supply outside and you plug the mains cable in, then this will run everything the same as the generator and you will not have a limit on what you can run. If you have the generator running and you plug the mains in, it will give priority to the mains coming in, so you will not be running the generator using the power coming from the generator. It will be using the mains 240 power coming in through the orange lead into the side of the vehicle. If you take that away and you're moving or stationary and you want to use the air conditioning systems or other mains appliances, then you start the generator. And you now have mains power coming from the generator. This will then run both of the air conditioning units. The aircon unit in the centre of the van, on maximum output, will run at 1200 watts. The air conditioning at the back of the van, which is a mains 240 only, will run at around 1000 watts. So with both of the aircon units running, this gauge up here will show around about 2,200 or just over consumption. Because the generator will put out a maximum of 2,600, it's not really recommended then to switch on any other appliance while both of the aircon units are running on mains. If you do this and you put on the microwave, which is another 1000 watts, or if you put on the water heater, which is 1600 watts, you will overload the system and the generator will cut out. So for normal usage when you're driving along, have the two aircon units running off of the mains electrics. At the moment you have these two controls here. The white one will operate the aircon unit in the centre of the van above the kitchen. The silver one will operate the aircon unit at the back of the van. The aircon unit at the back of the van is connected so that the cold air blows up through and out of these ducts here. So these butterflies need to be open, and you'll get the cold air blowing out at high level and mixing with the warm air through these two ducts here. Again, this aircon unit at the back is only off of mains electrics, and that's operated by this control here. So you just set your temperature down, it'll kick in and it'll start cooling. The central aircon unit blows cold air down, and again it mixes, so you'll have a good flow of cold air coming through. Again, that is just worked off of temperature, so if you turn the temperature down to lowest setting is 16, that will be kicking and working at maximum to cool the inside of the vehicle. So we now have the aircon unit here running off of 240 with the generator running. As you can see, it is consuming 1.1 kilowatt. Okay, this is the gauge that you need to just look at to see what power you're consuming from the generator, to see, make sure it's not getting over the maximum 2,600 at full power. So 1,100, 1,200 kilowatts for this unit, further 1,000 for the back there, and the microwave will use 1,000 watts. So with this one running now at 1,100, if we put the microwave on, the microwave's now running, and as you can see, that power consumption on this is now going up to 2 kilowatts plus. Okay, so with the microwave and the roof aircon running, you're running at 3/4 of maximum power, so you wouldn't really be able to run any other major mains appliance. Okay, we now have the engine running. With the engine running while you're driving, the engine puts power through from the alternator into the back end of the vehicle. This is automatically charging your leisure battery for running all your internal lights to keep it topped up, but also it is charging a bank of batteries that are fitted underneath the floor, two 140 amp AGM batteries, big batteries. These batteries are used as a reservoir to store power, so that while you're travelling, if you want to switch over and use the main aircon unit on the roof through the 12-volt system, then it will free up power from the generator so that you can use the aircon at the back, which is using 1,000 watts, and this will then give you 1,600 watts of power surplus. So if you want to plug in a TV, or if you want to put the microwave on when you're travelling, you can do. The fridge could be run off of mains when you're travelling, but this will automatically, if you select the selector on the fridge, you do not need to run this on 240 when you're travelling, because you can select the 12-volt here when the engine is running, and that will keep it cold from the power coming from the engine when you're going from A to B. The only reason to run the mains on the fridge is if you are stationary and you want to keep the fridge cold without the engine running, in which case you can run that off of gas through the gas system outside, or you can have it running through the mains electrics, either through the mains hookup from the outside or from the generator. If we put the fridge on now on mains, that will now be cooling from the 240 power, which is being supplied by the generator. As you can see on the gauge here, that is using about 0.2 or just over of a kilowatt. So this is okay to use on mains with the 2 aircon units running. Other appliances like the microwave, which we use 1000 watts, or the water heater, you cannot use with both of the aircon systems running. So while you're travelling, if you want to use the microwave to make a cup of tea or warm some food, you would have to then switch this unit over to run off the bank of batteries instead of running from the generator. So you isolate this system from the generator, which gives you the spare capacity then to use other things on your 240. But this is only when you're travelling with the engine running. To swap this unit over to 12 volt, first of all you would have to operate the isolator switch, which is located in the wardrobe. If you switch that off there, that will stop the mains power going through from the generator into the main aircon unit on the roof. So if you switch this on now, it won't work. If you switch the aircon unit on now, it wouldn't work because there is no mains power now going through to the unit. What you need to do then is switch this button on here. This activates the unit under here, which converts the 12 volt power stored in a big bank of batteries underneath the floor into 240 power to run the aircon unit. So now with the engine running, this unit is changing the 12 volt power coming from the engine through the batteries into power to run the aircon unit here. This is recommended only to use as a backup or to give extra capacity to run other things while you're travelling. On full power, this will run for 2 to 3 hours on the bank of batteries with the engine running, and then it's recommended that it's switched off for at least an hour to recharge the batteries. It'll be drawing more power from batteries than the engine can put in, so when you switch off, the engine running will start to recharge those batteries, and the reserve of power in those batteries will build back up. So this is used as a break in between, or to give you a chance to do anything else. So after use of 2 to 3 hours, what you need to do is switch off this system and then re-engage the mains electrics from the generator there. That means now the aircon system is running from the generator as it was before. So both aircon systems are taking power from the generator or mains hookup if you're stationary. Okay. Okay, and if so when you want to switch the system off, just press the red button and that will stop the generator. The generator running on full power on the 25 litres, we estimate should last 6 hours plus. Again, depends on the usage. If it's not being used on full capacity, it'll probably last longer. The fuel tank in the back is 25 litres. It's possible if you wanted to extend the range of this, you could put a bigger fuel tank in the back. It will take a slightly bigger fuel tank, or you could double up on the fuel tanks. Okay, so once again, generator at the back runs off unleaded petrol through the filler at the back. It's completely separate to the vehicle. On the outside, you have the diesel filler, which is into the main fuel tank to run the engine, which is, you use the ignition key to open and close. On the side you have a mains hookup, so this is where you plug your mains electric cable in, so power from your house or wherever you want to hook up from outside then goes in, and that will run all the internal mains electrics and the aircon units. That will then override the generator if the generator is running. So it's recommended when you're stationary, if you're next to a building or something, hook up to the mains there. When you unplug that, the aircon units need to be running off the mains electrics, and then the 12 volt backup power through to this aircon unit to give you extra capacity to run other mains units, TVs, laptop chargers, anything else while you're travelling. The other filler on this side is for your fresh water. So the blue cap, which is operated by the main door key, habitation door key, which does your door, your locks for the back end and for this and for the toilet, is where the fresh water goes in. This is your freshwater reservoir. It fills the tank inside underneath the seat. That is the water that comes through for your sink, your shower, and to flush the water through in the toilet. When you lock this, it will click, lock, and then just turn the key, and then once that's locked, it'll just spin, so you can't undo it. When you unlock it, turn it and it'll just come off, and you just fill that with a hose pipe from a tap. Just fill it till it overflows, and that will fill about 120 litres of water, fresh water, which will last quite a long time. This here is a flue for the water heater system when it's running on gas, so you may get a little bit of heat and some moisture coming out of there, so don't block this. This is purely for when you're running the heating and hot water on the gas system, not the electric. This is the cassette toilet. This is a chemical toilet. So this needs to be operated with chemicals in the bottom to keep it sanitary. The waste tank, just pull the little clip up there and the whole thing slides out. Then this needs to be taken and emptied down a toilet or down a cesspit. So to empty that, just let the air in at the top, empty, and then wash it out with a hose. This is the opening top, so as you use the toilet from inside, that's where the waste goes in. You also put your chemicals in the bottom when you want to recharge it. So when it's empty, you put your chemicals in the bottom, your blue chemical or your green chemical, in the right concentration, and then as you use it, it will dilute, and then you just empty it and wash out. Okay. As you use the water from the sink in the shower and it goes down the plug holes, there's a grey water tank which is made of black plastic for your dirty water, which If you want to hold it, you can do, but for normal use, you would just let it run away. So this tank has a valve on the bottom, which is operated by this slide. As you open it, that will open the trap and the dirty water will just run out from the side. Further instructions on the usage of all the internal workings is I will go over and send in a later video. This is really just to show the extra bits that we fitted in the operation of the aircon units.